Look for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.
Hey Thrifties, welcome back to the Get Thrifty podcast brought to you by ARC Thrift Stores. ARC Thrift Stores is a nonprofit thrift store chain, and I am your host, Maggie Civic. And we're all about sharing everything that has to do with shopping secondhand. So if you're part of our unique thrift culture, please contact us. As always, you can find us on Instagram at ARC Thrift. Send us a DM and let's chat. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited to welcome local thrifter and owner of Modern Vintage Marketplace. Until recently, Kelly spent her career in the corporate IT world. Yes, we will ask all about her journey, a path she had followed for as long as she could remember. In 2022, she made a bold and deliberate pivot, stepping away from the familiar to give herself the spaces to discover what truly inspired her. What began as a season of exploration quickly evolved into a passion-driven reinvention. Love this. Meet Modern Vintage Marketplace. It's a Highlands Ranch destination for discovery, nostalgia, and pure creative fun. So, yes, she's a Colorado girly. This vintage wonderland features over 5,000 unique items and blends of the best vintage, antique, and modern artisan treasures, all curated with heart, style, and a dash of quirk. The moment you walk in, you'll catch the scent of cedar candles. Vintage magic is in the air. This isn't just a store, it's an experience. Play a game, lounge, uncover hidden treasures, and explore textures, colors, and stories at every turn. You'll find over 20 local artisans offering handcrafted goods you won't see anywhere else, alongside an ever-changing mix of retro clothing, one-of-a-kind decor, and delightfully eccentric pieces that spark joy without breaking the bank. Love that. They've designed every corner to invite slow exploration and connection. Stay a while, browse, chat, geek out over design, share a memory, and meet people who love vintage as much as you do. At Modern Vintage Marketplace, every visit is a fresh and fun surprise. We can't wait to learn more about this unique Highlands Ranch experience. Kelly, so excited to have you. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Maggie. Thank you for having me.
We're jazzed. I found you on Zoom. I was telling you before we got started, and I can't wait. I need to hear about your husband because he's like a TikTok sensation with his Wednesday series, but we'll get to that. So
Okay.
let's start off with how people can find you on the social so they can kind of follow along as they listen today.
Yeah, we're on most of the socials at MVM, which is short for Modern Vintage Marketplace Retail. So just at MVM Retail.
So easy. So I kind of want to back up and like really understand your rich history of reselling and secondhand, but let's go all the way back. How'd you officially find secondhand?
It's funny because when I was younger, I didn't like to thrift at all. And my mother
Mm,
always wanted to go thrifting. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm not going in there. I don't want to be part of it. And I just think it's so interesting how I've come full circle from
mhm.
that.
It always
Um,
seems to happen.
It does. So didn't have this, reselling, thrifting. None of this was on my mind. I just was at the point where I needed to leave corporate. I had done everything I felt like I could do. And I was like, I just have to do something that I love for the rest of my life. And I don't know what that is, but I'm going to give myself the space to figure it out. And that happened in November of 2022.
And you just took the leap, like
I
you and your
did.
husband.
I did. Well, it was just me. I just said, I'm done. And he was like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. And I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll figure it out. And then I just gradually let myself gravitate wherever I wanted to go. And I was gravitating towards thrift stores and estate sales. And I just found all this excitement in the stories behind the pieces.
That is my favorite part too, is the stories, the history. I love you have this special saying about, rescuing items, which is so special. And we'll definitely get into that. So tell us about Highlands Ranch, why the location? It's expensive.
I know. I live in Parker, which is the next kind of town or two over. And I wanted to open a store where I lived, but you're right. This is a very expensive, kind of part of, the Denver metro area. And I worked with a broker to find me a spot that I could afford. And she came back and said, I have this location and here's where it is in Highlands Ranch. Had no idea at the time that Highlands Ranch had no other vintage store and that I would be the only one. I didn't even know that at the time. And I just was like, yeah, let's do it and see what happens.
Yeah. How's the community responded?
The community is great. And that's what we love, is creating a community, because we're actually on County Line Road, which means like the next county is across the street. And so we're in a great spot because there's within arm's reach about 4 different towns, and really getting to embrace all those people. And we're not far from the traditional, Broadway antique, stream of stores, one after another. So at least we're close enough people can come visit us.
Yeah, and I think people do in Colorado, especially, luckily enough, like, and you're what are your cross streets? County Line and
University.
okay, perfect. Yeah, you're like down the street from 2 of my stores. So that's
Yes.
amazing. And I
Yeah.
do feel like, the more the better. More thrift stores, more vintage. People go to multiple locations. Are you kind of finding that your regulars are out there visiting everyone?
Yeah, it's funny. We do have regulars, which I never thought that would happen, but I do. And then there's like a store like mine that focuses on furniture, a store like mine that focuses on more antique. And so the 3 of us are like this triangle, and we just send each other, all of our customers to each other, because we all have different things, but yet we're supporting each other in this,
Yeah.
business.
It is such a great community, and I love that, and I found your husband on TikTok, and I was like, "Oh my god, this guy is so fun, I need to check out this location." I haven't been yet, full disclosure, I plan to go, but one of the things that I think, and you tell me, that sets you apart from your competitor is that you include other artisans as vendors in your space. Walk us through that journey.
Sure. So we had a couple of vendors when I first opened. I met some people, and I love people who follow their passion. They're creating things that they love,
Mhm.
jewelry, whatever it is. And so I would, give them space in the store and try out and give them feedback. Here's what customers are saying. So when we moved 2 months ago into our new space, I really wanted to just double down on that and give local artisans a platform to showcase what they do. And I love them all, but I love even more the ones that take things and upcycle. I am all
Ooh,
about the upcycle. And
yeah.
then the more we can avoid going to landfills, the better. And the fact that they can take something and make art and these beautiful things out of it is so exciting for me.
Can you tell us a little bit about, like, your not your favorites, I'm sure you love all your children equally, but, like,
Exactly.
anyone in particular that's doing something special upcycling, and maybe share their Instagram handle so we can follow them?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I know their Instagram off the top of my
We'll
head.
find them. We'll find
But
them.
yeah, and we should list those on our website too. That's a really good point. Um, we have an artisan who made a purse out of a towel.
Mm,
And that's probably one of my favorite pieces because it looks I mean, it is brand new. She just took this beautiful kind of brocade looking towel and put the strap and beautiful vintage looking lining inside. And it's gorgeous. And at the same time, we have, someone else who will take a piece of lace that has a huge hole in it, but the rest of the lace is fine.
mhm.
And then he'll line the bottom of some jeans and put them on the back pocket. And all
So
of a sudden he's
clever.
elevated these plain jeans into this beautiful piece of art.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I do love that, like, the makers that are coming out of this whole thrift movement are just so clever, and I mean, it's amazing. It's so
it is.
amazing. What do you focus on for your portion of the things that you're selling? What era are we looking at? What can we expect to find when we walk through the doors?
Oh, geez. Well, first of all, as soon as you walk in, you're going to see my love of glass. I love glass. I love colored glass. I love just, to me, it's amazing. Everything had a purpose back in the day, so every piece that comes in, it's always like we research every item. So sometimes I get things in, I'm like, what in the world is this? And what did they use it for? And when I look it up, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Mhm.
So sometimes my husband will do a series like, okay, here's this thing. What do you think it is? And it's so much fun to hear people like respond and say, oh, it's makeup. Oh, it's this. And you're like, no, it's a vintage ball and jacks, container. And everyone's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's the best part. You will definitely see all the decades. We actually have a mural inside the store that starts in the 50s and ends to the 80s. That's probably like the most iconic, decades, but love the 20s,
Mhm.
love the 40s. I just got a bunch of 1800 Victorian stuff in,
Ooh, that stuff's
which
hot. The
is
Victorian stuff's coming back.
so hard to find.
Yeah.
And when you find it and it's in amazing condition, you just lose your mind. At least
Mhm.
I do. And we have the people that work for us and artisans. The best part is we all geek out on it together. Like when
Mhm.
one comes in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you what I got the other day. And then we just geek out on it.
Yeah, and I love that you say you're creating this experience where people can come and, like, lounge. What sparked that? And did it just evolve into that?
um, we get people who, there's a lot in our store, but we try not to have it like on top of each other.
Mhm.
I want you to be able to walk through and kind of see everything without having to move something. But I'll have people who will do like 3, 4 laps in the store. They're like, I'm finding things the second and third time
Mhm.
around. So it occurred to us that people were spending quite a bit of time in the store. We want to make it very comfortable, have some chairs, have a place that they can sit down. A lot of times they'll drag someone with them to the store, and that person will say to me, just so we're clear, I didn't even want to come because I
And
didn't
now I
think I'd
can't
like
leave.
anything. And I'm the one that's buying something. And so I just love that people don't know what to expect when they come in. And
Mhm.
we put new things out on the floor every single day. So you never know what you're going to find. I may put a treasure out on Wednesday that wasn't there on Tuesday.
Mhm.
So it's just that kind of environment. The other thing is that vinyl records are super popular right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
which I love. So I've got teenagers all the way to 70-year-olds coming in buying vinyl, which is so exciting.
So
So we
exciting.
decided to kind of, amplify the music section of our store. And so my husband made a homemade vinyl record stand. We put instruments now. We have a couch and it's called the Music Lounge. You can hang out. You can even listen to a piece of vinyl before you buy it. You sit with your headphones and check it out and make sure that's what you want.
Oh my gosh, I love this. One of my son's friends, shout out Liam Abner. He's actually been on this podcast. He's a local magician, but he also plays music with his best friend Linus, and they would absolutely die for this. And they'd probably like, whip out a guitar and play a song for you, which could be so fun. I'm sending them over. I've got to send them this episode. Let's talk a little bit about that. You're able to kind of, well, first of all, you have the ability to kind of put out whatever you want, which has to be so fun, right?
It is.
And change it up like anytime you want. But what do you think has happened that this secondhand world has become, so popular with young people?
Well, one of the things we try to do is we try to give them ideas on what to do with pieces. So young people will come in and they'll say, oh, I love this. It's beautiful. What is it? I'm like, okay, well, it is a bud vase, but you could put matches in it. You could put toothpicks
Pure
in it.
incense,
You
yes.
could do all these different things. You can take a beautiful crystal biscuit jar that's got all this etching and everything on it. And you could put like bath bombs, and put it next to your tub and you've elevated your space. So they love the idea of taking that old piece and then repurposing it,
Mhm.
which just benefits everybody. And I just love it. And that's why we call it rescuing and not shopping, because you really are rescuing this piece and giving it new love.
Mhm. And I am loving that the teens today are like, they're proud of their finds from secondhand. They're like, "Oh, I only paid X amount for this," and they brag about it. It's exciting.
Yes, because that wasn't me when I was young, and
Yeah.
I love it. I had a young girl come in, I'm guessing she was 21, 22. She was getting her first apartment, and so her parents brought her in to kinda
Yes.
help her figure out what she wanted, and she loves pink. Well, I showed her my pink depression glass, and she was like, "Oh," so she bought all this pink depression glass for her first kitchen in her first apartment. Oh my gosh, it doesn't get better than that. That's the coolest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you do feel like you're a part of their life. I do love being in the when I'm able to be in my stores, I'm always like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you found that talking with customers. You get to do that full time now." How's that been for you not having to do this whole, grind of the corporate world?
Oh, it's wonderful. You like, this business is all about networking. I know you guys talk a lot about that on your show. It's just meeting people and staying connected with each other. And we met a gentleman who ran like an antique kind of store, up in the mountains before we started. And we asked him, like, where do you get your stuff? Like, just
Yeah.
trying to, kind of prep the situation for us. And he said, networking. You will just meet people and it'll just naturally and organically happen. And I thought, that's crazy. How does that work? And then here I am living it. And I probably have 5 to 10 people a day walk in the store saying, I have all this, whatever,
Can
from
I
my
donate
mom,
it?
from my
Yeah.
grandmother. I don't know what to do with it. And I do miss the hunt. I miss going out. I just don't
Mhm.
have enough time to do it anymore. But it kind of finds me and it's kind of magical. I tell people, bring me something that makes me gasp. I
Mhm.
like the rare, the unusual, something you would say, where in the world would you find that? We should start at Modern Vintage Marketplace. Like that's kind of what I want.
Now, do you offer consignment services then, or you donation? You do. Okay.
We
Walk us
do
through
both.
that.
Yeah. So we have people who are like, look, I just want this to find a home.
Mhm.
And then we have people, I do something called consignment by invitation because I didn't want to be a consignment
Yeah.
store.
That's a
But
whole
then
nother animal.
it is, but then I realized that's where the gems are. These are the things. That's why I like estate sales, because estate sales are things that people held on to. They never took it to the thrift store.
Mhm.
They just held on to it, and then now they're gone, or they've moved into an assisted living, and it's like, okay, what kind of gems did they hold on to for God knows how many years?
Yeah.
So that's a great part of it.
Now let's talk about your sourcing because I love it. And of course, people are going to find you. And Highlands Ranch is that kind of suburbia neighborhood where, you know, people my age, they're dealing with aging parents, and we're going to bring those things to a place that they love, that they've made a connection with somebody like you,
Yeah.
which is special. But when you're desperate, how do you source? Are you still out there doing your old ways of finding these treasures?
Every now and then I will get the itch and I'm like, okay, I have to go thrifting. I love, and it's so funny because when I first started, I could take like a half hour to go down a row because I didn't really know. I was educating myself. So I
Yeah.
didn't really know what certain brands or patterns were or even what something was. And now my husband laughs because I fly. I just now I know what I'm looking for. I have an eye and you have to kind of look behind stuff and look
Yep.
low, and it's the hunt and I love the hunt. And so every now and then when I'm just feeling like I'm dragging, I'm like, I got to go to the thrift store. It's going to
Get a
make
little
me
thrift
happy.
fix. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
to
and
call
then
it the
we have an
fix.
arc right down the street on Quebec and County Line. That's
Yes.
one of my favorites. And it's
Yeah.
just like you never know what you're going to find. And that's the best part. But I also want that for my customers. Like when
Mhm.
they walk in, they're just like, I was here last week and this wasn't here. I know it's here
Yeah.
now, but you
Yep.
better buy it because we get that a lot. People come back, they're like, it's gone. I'm like, well, it's one of a bunch of things. And so it's not like you buy this beautiful vase, I can go get another one from the back and put it out. That's all I got.
One of one. One of one. That's we love to say that in our business too. We're like, why did you wait? People get so disappointed. Now, how do you keep your prices low? Because I love that that's part of your whole bio that, you try and keep it affordable. How do you do that?
Well, we research every single item. And when we do the research, we try to look at what are the different prices out there. And I
Mhm.
also have to educate my customers. They're like, I saw this online and they're asking $100. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but anybody can ask anything. You think
Mhm.
about it.
Did
It's
they pay
what they
that?
actually
Yeah.
got paid for it. So you have to be smart about your research. You have to look at sold. You have to put in the effort to see what, is a good market. But I also tell people that I think pop culture really changes things in our world as well. So I'll tell people
True.
like all of a sudden like the Barbie movie came out. Everybody wanted Barbie stuff and pink stuff. And then like the Garfield movie came out. People wanted like vintage Garfield glasses. Like
Mhm.
it's just so funny how pop culture is driving and then that drives prices.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we have things that are flooding the market because you talked about like these people's parents are passing now or moving into assisted living. And that was the generation that bought all the Hummels. So now there's Hummels everywhere. And then it takes the price down and the value down, which is unfortunate. But I tell people just wait 10 years. Who knows? It'll circle back around and
It
nobody will
all
be able
comes
to find a
back.
Hummel. Exactly. And so we try to be at the bottom of the range of prices. So
Mhm.
I love to say to someone, If you think you can get a better price, look it up online. Like take a picture here in the store, look it up. But remember, you're probably going to pay shipping. You don't know what kind of condition it is. You're touching it, you're feeling it. It's here, it's now. Why would you not buy it? Here at this great price. So we just want it to be reasonable. And then we, like anybody else, we mark things down if they've sat a little too long. But when things sit, it's not because they're not desirable. They just haven't met their match. And I tell
I
people
love
that.
that.
Oh, I tell people like, okay, I'm going to take this in on consignment because I love it. But it may take 6 months until someone else like me comes in and can't live without it. So you have to be patient. And that's kind of how it works. Someone comes in and goes, oh, this is magical. I'm like, okay, well, 200 other people walked right past it, but you think it's magical. And that's what it's all about.
Mm, I love that kind of in a story to each one. Then they're taking it home for a second chapter.
So that's probably my favorite piece, Maggie, is when somebody brings something in. I love for them to share with me what they know about it. Sometimes they're like, I don't know, my mom just held on to it forever. This is how long she's had it. But sometimes they have the story because it's theirs, right? And I then get to tell the person buying it where it came from. Then the person who brought it to me comes back and I tell them who bought it. And this full circle moment is the whole reason to get up every day. Um, can I share an example with you?
Please, please.
Okay, so another thing that we do is we have a lot of older people who live in the neighborhood. They come in and, maybe their spouse has passed or whatever, they're by themselves. They have a whole house full of stuff. They don't know what to do. So we go over to their house and kind of help them. These are things you should donate. This is
Yeah.
something you should sell. This you should try to pass down because this is why. We just try to give them advice and guidance. We met this one lady and we were in one of her rooms in her house and we were going through stuff and I looked in the closet and I saw this beautiful dress and I said, what is that? And she said, that's my going away dress. So after I got married, you put that dress on and then you go on your honeymoon.
Oh,
And
sweet.
I thought, oh, that's so sweet. And I said, are you going to give that to your granddaughter? And she's like, no, nobody wants it. Can you take it and sell it? And I said, yeah, but I feel bad, but absolutely. Well, 15-year-old girl comes in with her mom. She tries it on. She comes out of the fitting room. It fit her perfectly. It was absolutely adorable. And she's going to wear it to homecoming. And so I got to go back and tell the lady the story about the 15-year-old. And I thought she was going to cry right in front of me because she thought, I never thought that dress would ever see, the light of day again. And to know that somebody else is giving it new life makes her so happy. That's the best part right there.
That's absolutely got to be the best part. And getting to know that whole neighborhood. I mean, you've got some really cool mid-century modern homes out there. Like that's a cool little part of town.
Yeah. Mid-century modern is super popular. Everybody wants to upgrade their basement and their bar and do mid-century modern,
the bar stuff. Yeah. Do you carry a lot of that?
Oh yeah. Barware is wonderful,
Yeah, it's always
great.
hot.
And then you get like these old style cordial glasses.
Oh, they love
so
them.
fancy. It just makes you want to have a drink.
Yes, so sellable, so sellable. And I do want to ask about that. You come from a background of you were a reseller. You understand eBay, Depop, Mercari. Walk us through. I mean, there's people listening today that would love to dip their toe into brick and mortar. I'd kind of like to understand, your journey and any advice you might have for anybody who's kind of thinking about getting into it in their town.
Oh, well, I love doing online shopping or selling, and I still do. I'm still on all those platforms, right? I pick and choose what I want to do, especially if something is very rare. That person looking for it may not walk through my door. So that's kind of why we made the decision to open a store. You just kind of have to pace yourself. I was in a much smaller space when I first started, and I just was like, okay, here's where I'm going to focus. And then you have your focus area and then it kind of grows naturally. Like we talked about, it's very organic. I love clothes. I love accessories, but I also love home decor. So I kind of split my store up in two parts when I first started. But I think at the same time, you can't rule anything out. I learned that sometimes I would bring something into the store and I'm like, no one's going to buy this. It was the first thing to go. You just never know what people are looking for, what they're going to use it for. And so you really have to learn not to rule anything out. And you have to just be open. Let people make you offers. talk to them, find out what they're doing it for. The other thing that we do is we have a book at the store and it's called Friends of MVM. Somebody comes into the store and they don't find what they're looking for. They can put their name and phone number and what they're looking for in the book. And then we then look for it for them.
Oh my
So
gosh. And the act of writing it out is like manifesting it.
yes, oh my gosh, manifesting, it totally happens in this industry. I never understood that till I had the store. Even to the point where somebody, and that's why I made the book, somebody would come in, I'm looking for a very specific brand, a very certain color of glass, whatever it may be. I say, put your name on here, write it down. 2 days later, it walks in the door.
Yeah. Putting
This
in
is
into the
amazing.
universe. The
And
book
so
works.
before the book, it was just a conversation. I thought,
Yeah.
how am I going to find that lady? Because here it is that she was looking for. So that's how the book started. But the book helps us when people come in and say, I have stuff. I go, great. Go on our website, look at the seeking page.
Mhm.
These are things we're looking for other customers. So people will go, somebody's looking for that? Yes. Well, I have that. Okay, great. If you don't want it, bring it in. We'll give it a new home.
Yeah.
We'll rehome it for you.
And tell us again your website, because as people listen to this, I want to say it a couple times, and your socials and TikTok, because I love that they could just reach out to you on those platforms and say, I'm looking for XYZ. Tell us again.
Yes. It's modernvintagemarketplace.com. It's our whole name.com.
Perfect.
And then the social media again is just at MVM Retail.
Easy peasy.
Yes.
And I do think like putting it out there like that. And then you have this backup. So if you do have product that's sitting on the floor for too long, because like for me as big box thrifter, it's kind of what I refer to us as, we have to move product quickly. But you have the luxury of being able to sit on it a little longer. But then you do have this other avenue where you could sell it online if you need to, which is great. That's the best advice, I think, for anyone kind of, you're not ending your online reselling footprint. You're just changing it a little bit and,
you're
getting to know
broadening
people.
it,
Yeah.
And I do
Yeah.
have to move the store around and move things around because I do have so many regulars.
They want
when I
new.
move,
Yeah.
when I move it around, they go, oh, this is all new. I'm like, no, this has been here the whole time. You just didn't see it because it's in a new layout.
Yes.
Which is another challenge outside of, posting online.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the reseller job online is a full-time job. Do you just do it in the back there, or do you have to take it
and
home?
when we moved to the new store, we got really busy. And so I just started putting stuff. I just like to put things that are super rare and unique online.
Hard to sell. Yeah.
I don't want to, if there's 20, 25 of something already out there, I don't need to be the 21 or 26 one out there. I'm looking for the rare pieces, and I love the rare pieces, and they do come to us and they're so exciting.
I just love this. And I love that you guys are, utilizing social media to make this happen too. So let's get into that. I just about died when I was like, this is a local place. Like, we have to feature them. TikTok, what brought you? And what kept you?
I'm not on TikTok. My husband loves TikTok. And so he was adamant when I started the store, like, you have to be on social media. I watch reels of people that have stores like this, and you need to have your reels. And I said, I don't really want to do it. I mean, I did it at the beginning and I was like, this is not my thing. I don't get a lot of energy from it. He does. And so I'm like, you know what? You can just be the face,
go for it,
of the social media. The best part is, Maggie, people come in the store and they
looking
go,
for him.
I know him. He's on all the TikToks. And then one girl said, can I get your autograph? I said, he's going to die if you ask him for his
I got to tell you,
autograph.
when they sent me your talk track, I was like, where's the husband? I was like, what's happening? So I love it. You do the podcast, you do the audio, and let him do that. That's perfect.
He gets to focus on what we call the mantiques, and he gets to focus on the music lounge, and he wants nothing to do with glass, which is great. We have our little, lanes,
divide and conquer. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. One of my talk track notes on here says gift baskets. So walk us through that, because I do think that's a fun element. I've always wanted us to do that at ARC, but we just, again, have too much product. So what do you do in terms of gift baskets? Are they seasonal? What's that about?
It started seasonal. I love the idea of putting a piece of thrifted or vintage in a gift basket so that you kind of force it to take on a new life. And I think it was last season I was online and I saw somebody talking about, if you're going to a party and you're going to bring something that you made, put it on a beautiful thrifted, crystal platter or something, and leave the platter with the
As a
person
gift.
and
Yes.
tell them to keep it going.
Yep.
So my idea was, I love these old, porcelain tea cups and saucers, and they're so dainty and they're so beautiful. And a lot of them are hand painted.
Oh, yeah.
And putting one of them in a basket with a assortment of tea and some honey and a lemon and some biscuits. And all of a sudden you have a tea lover and you have a basket, because people were coming to me at the last minute saying, we're going to a party and we need a gift. And I would say, okay, well, when's the party? They're like, oh, in
Uh,
about 2 hours. And I'm like, you guys are killing me. So I'm like, I need to make it so people can come in and grab and go.
mhm.
But yet there's this piece of vintage or something that kind of stays with the product.
Yeah. And that's always a question I like to ask on here. Is it okay to thrift a gift? Obviously, your answer is yes. But
Yeah.
expand on that for us. What would you say to people who may be kind of iffy on if it's okay to do this?
Oh gosh, these things are beautiful. They're
Mhm.
made well. There is nothing wrong with them. They actually have a story and a life before you, believe it or not. Um, and you're basically, like I said, rescuing. And so taking like some vintage martini glasses and putting
Mm,
them, with you can mix. I'm modern and vintage. I have new stuff in the store. I love vintage inspired. I like anything that's funky. So taking like a brand new shaker with some vintage martini glasses and like some fun, vintage, olive, stickers, and putting them in a basket. How much fun is that? It's like you're mixing it all up. And I think that's the best. A little
mhm.
bit of everything.
Yeah, and again, it's friendly for your wallet. I mean, I'm really just stunned at how it's just so expensive anymore to buy this cookie cutter gift that doesn't have any meaning right
Yeah.
off the retail shelf. Here's an opportunity to really tell a story and make someone's day, and I think you're right. People appreciate it.
And we get everyone. We get those that are, trying to be cost conscious and they want to buy something, but they want it secondhand. They don't want to pay what it would be
Mhm.
new. We have a lot of things that are vintage. They're over 25 years old, but they still have tags on them.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people around this neighborhood who went and did retail therapy, and then they sat in their closet, they never wore
they
it, and
never
now they're
used
ready
it.
to move
Yeah.
on. And someone else loves the fact that it's still brand new. It just may be from 1990. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
My
But then I
gosh.
also have the people who come in who know what they want, and they know if they're looking for a piece of Fenton glass or
Mhm.
Viking glass that it is a little bit more expensive than, let's say, carnival glass, right? And they know, and they don't even bat an eye, because they know that this piece is worth it. And I'm at the bottom of the range that they would find it out there. So there's a little bit for everybody here.
Tell me, do you have like a wacky story, a wacky item? I'm noticing on your show notes that you might have a couple of wacky stories of strange things that you found or strange people that have come in with weird questions.
Oh
Tell
my
us about a
goodness.
fun customer. There's got to be a
Okay.
few. I know we have tons.
Well, uh, one of my favorite finds was this bubble glass vase that I remember being in the store and going, am I getting punked right now? Like, is that sitting on a shelf and no one else is going after it? And I'm like, there has to be a chip or a crack or something. And it was heavy and I lifted it up. There was nothing wrong with it.
On the top
And
shelf, you have to like pull it down.
I,
I love
I just,
those.
the whole time I'm walking around, looking around like, is somebody going to come up to me, excuse me, you're on the show punked and that's not really available at a thrift store?
Mhm.
I brought it to the store, loved it, showcased it. And that's definitely one of the hardest things is when you're in this business, you have to learn not to take
Oh,
everything home.
letting go. Yes.
You have to love it while you have it, and then you have to let it go when it gets rescued by somebody else, right? And that's super hard, I'll tell you. But I put it out on the table and it was like my prize piece. And this gentleman and his wife came in and he loved it. He just couldn't stop looking at it. And he's like, I love this piece. And he's like, actually, we're here because we wanted to see if you might be interested in some of our vintage glass.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, okay.
a
And invited me.
collector. Come right
Yeah,
in, sir.
he actually wanted me to come over to his house to look at his stuff. And he had like two or three curios along the wall. And he had pulled out on the table the pieces he thought that I would be interested in. So when I went over there, I walked right past the table. I walked right past what he had laid out, not thinking that that was for me. and went right to the cabinet. And he was like, wait, I thought this is what you wanted. I'm like, no, that. I'm like, you've got a crystal ashtray in there. You've got a crystal ice bucket in there. And he's like, okay, I so didn't realize what you would want. And that's the thing I tell people, don't try to figure out what I'm interested in. Just send me pictures and let me tell you. The funny thing is I actually took a few pieces for him to consign. And then after a month, he came back in. He's like, okay, this vase is still here. I have to have this vase. Can I trade? Can I just give you everything
Yay.
that you're selling? And can I take this beautiful thing home? And
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I mean, I'm going to miss it. I knew it was going to go eventually, but I love that it's going to somebody that I've kind of made a connection
Mhm.
with. A year later, he comes by to visit the store and bro shows me a picture. He has it displayed like in the front with the light hitting it.
Love it.
And he's like, this is my favorite piece of all time. I'm like, me too. I'm so glad you take good care of it.
And the story of how he, received it finally, I just love that. Yeah.
No, see, that's
And
what I'm saying. You can't rule anything out. You just never know
yeah.
how things are going to play out. And you just got to be open to it.
Yeah. And you're obviously like giddy about it, which I
Oh,
absolutely love. Like you should rethink the TikTok of it all because when you tell a story, you're super animated. Like
oh,
I want to come to the store. And I think that that's, part of this, the whole,
yeah,
being able to go on social media and talk about your brand is, it's a real skill. And, I'm going to
yeah.
enjoy watching your journey, but highly recommend you go and tell these
Thank
sorts of
you.
stories
Yeah.
and include your customers because I'm loving the story of your customers. Like
Yes.
Highlands Ranch is a unique little area and people there are starting, to get older and retire and they've got cool collections or their parents
Yep.
side and they're trying to find homes for it.
Oh, we love it. I love that there are people who come in and I know them. I know their name. I can't always remember their name, but I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" I remember what they bought. Girl, I can't remember what I had for breakfast,
But
but
you
I
know what they
remember
bought.
what this woman bought the last time she was in my store. I don't know where that ability comes from. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mhm.
But, my husband, he's here all the time with me now, and he's just like, "You know so many people." I'm like, "'Cause they're my regulars. They come in all
Yes.
the time." And they love when they can come into a store and people remember them or
Mhm.
know their name or
Know their
it's like the
name.
cheers of retail, right?
Yes,
It's fun.
100%.
Um,
Now, how about the online community? Like the people that know your husband, can you like send a DM instantly and say, "Oh, I'd love that item. Can I purchase it?" Is that an okay,
yeah.
vibe that you're kind of procuring there as well?
Yeah, you talked about the Wednesday we do kind of like what's new in the store.
Yeah.
So we constantly get calls, emails, DMs. I saw the jacket, put it aside for me. I'm on my way in. It
Send it to
happens
me. I'm from
all the time.
Minnesota. Yeah. Love
Yeah,
that.
and I even had a lady the other day, she came in. This is a great story. She came in and she said, "Okay, I just want you to know I live in Kentucky and I am here visiting my kids for Christmas. And I saw your TikTok video and I thought, oh, that's right by where my kids live." And I wrote it on a piece of paper, Modern Vintage
I love
Marketplace.
this.
And she said, "I got in yesterday. I woke up this morning. My daughter was like, we have to go to the hockey store to get something for my grandson." She's like, "Okay, I'll go with you." We park in front of your store. You're next to the hockey
Meant
store.
to be.
So she was like, "Wait a minute, this is the place that and my daughter's like, "You heard about this where you live? What?"
Mhm.
And she just couldn't believe that, when you're on social media, it just transcends states and countries and everything. And she's like, "I can't believe that I'm here. Like this was one of my things to do when I was in Colorado." And I'm like, I love the whole destination. That's what we want to be, where
Mhm.
you have friends in town visiting and they're like, I have the best cute store I have to take you to.
Yeah,
It's like
let's
nothing
stop
else.
by.
Yeah, that's what we want.
It really is amazing, in a million years. And I hope that this content from this podcast is helpful for you as well, because
Thank
I'm trying to get as many people as possible to come to Colorado. We are like a mecca for vintage and secondhand.
you.
What
Ugh.
do you say to that? Are you a native?
No, I've only been here 11 years.
Oh,
I'm from
wow.
South Florida.
Oh, cool.
Too bad I didn't get into this there because there's
Yeah.
lots of stuff there, right?
Yeah. Well, what do you
But
think of the whole secondhand vibe in Colorado? I mean, it's kind of just like a part of the ethos of our state, I feel like.
It is. And you have like these cute little boutique ones too
Mhm.
that you can't forget about, you know.
Yep. Yep.
One of my favorite ones is called Renewed Treasures.
Mm.
And you know, love going there too. You got to mix it up, you know. Everybody
Yeah.
gets different stuff. You never know what you're gonna find. I think that's the fun of thrifting.
Yeah.
You know, I know you've had a couple guests that are like, I am very intentional, you know, and you can be intentional, but sometimes a piece will speak to you and you have to take it home with you
Mhm.
or gift
100%.
it or think of someone else who would love it. And
Yeah.
constantly have people come into the store that are like, I wasn't really sure. Modern vintage, you know, the name gets you. You're like, well, what is it, lady? Is it modern or is it vintage?
It's all the things.
And they come in and they want to check it out. And then they go, okay, now I know who I need to bring here. I
Mhm.
didn't realize what it was, but now that I do, I have this person, and this person. I'm going to bring them back. So
Yeah.
it's so funny. We constantly have that, you know, oh, I know someone who would love this because we
Mhm.
all know someone who just geeks out, like you said, on whether it's decor or clothing or just vintage. Even high end, we have Coach bags, you know, we have, you know, these really old, beautiful furs. Yes, they're furs, but now they're vintage. You might as well enjoy it and give the
Enjoy them
animal
now.
love for what it's sacrificed for,
So
right? That's
true.
what it deserves at this point.
Great way to look at
Um,
it. You know, I'm thinking about Mid-Mod Mike too. He's a huge ashtray aficionado. Do you have some good ashtrays right now?
Ashtrays were probably one of my first big sellers,
I'm
and it
telling
was
you,
young
they're
people.
hot.
The young
Yes.
people, and I say to them, do you smoke? Like, is it back again? And they're
Oh,
like, no,
I
we
collect them.
love
Yeah.
that we use them as trinket dishes. We put our keys in them, we put our change. And the more they don't look like an ashtray, the more they love them.
Yeah. The
The
ones,
hottest thing is a
yeah.
pedal ashtray. So if anybody out there is ever
Oh,
thrifting,
with the lid?
and well, no, the leaves. So it looks like a
Oh,
flower, but the leaves, like the petals come off, they turn over and they're individual little ashtrays
you're
that you
kidding.
can give out to people. Those are super
I
popular,
have
but
never
very
heard
hard
of
to
this.
find.
Mid-Mod Mike, I need to ask him about these.
Hey,
Wow.
anybody, if you're thrifting and you see a pedal ashtray, grab it, grab it, grab it. Yep.
So interesting. Yeah, and I'm loving how different eras are coming back. It about killed me when people wanted the low-rise jeans again, but you know, I'm here for it.
We try to have as much vintage, like statement piece clothing as
Yeah.
possible. You're familiar, there's the Boulder Ball,
Mhm.
which is all 40s based. So I have constantly have people coming in. They're already coming in.
Yeah.
The ball is coming up in June, and I'm working on my outfit now. And so
Yep.
it's really hard to find those pieces. And then when you do find something crazy, amazing, it's one size.
Mhm.
Right. And so it's like if you come in and it's not your size, it's like, oh, I wish this was my size, you know?
Yeah, we do have a lot of people asking us about tailors. Do people ask you about tailors in the area? Have you got
So
somebody
what
you send people to?
Yeah, one of our artisans that does the upcycling, he's totally a tailor. So
Mm,
he will custom fit, you know,
that's
because the
nice.
older dresses, you know, the points on the ladies' dresses were really
Mhm.
high, and they everybody's bodies were just so different back then. The
Yeah.
hats are small, the gloves are small, the shoes are small. But he's been able to take things out, move material around so that things can fit people. One lady
Ooh,
found a dress she's wearing to her niece's wedding, and he totally rearranged it for her so she could wear it. It had
love
a
that.
cape. It's a dress with a cape. Come on.
Yeah.
And it was from, I think, the 50s, and it was just gorgeous. And she's like, I have to have this. So the fact that I have him here and I can just call him and schedule an appointment with someone is huge.
Yeah.
I
People
love
really
that.
appreciate that. And then it's more special to them. They're almost, you know, and I've done this myself. You spend more on the tailoring than you do on the actual piece. It's worth it. It's
It
like a
is because
lifetime quality piece you'll keep forever.
exactly, you know, I love that. And I hope they pass them down, but they don't always, you know, and I also have people who come in that say, um, I'm not getting rid of anything. I'm going to leave it for my kids and then they're going to have to deal with it.
Mm,
And then I say to them, I go, okay, you know, that's your choice. I have my opinion doesn't matter, right? I said, but do me a favor. If there's anything that means something to you, and obviously it does because you've held on to it this long, make a note. Put the story with the
don't
piece so
get
that
rid
when
of
you're
this.
gone, they
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm going to hold on to this because this came from Grandma Jean and she's had it for X amount of years. But if you don't, it's just another piece that they're trying to move and get rid of. So
That's
if either
actually,
tell the story now
yeah.
or write a note.
Yeah, write a note, because even if you tell the story, you might not remember, the kids don't
Yeah.
remember. They're half listening. They're in their phone. I do
Yeah.
like, that's actually really good advice. Do
Yeah.
you want to manifest anything on this podcast? Anything you'd like to put
Ooh,
out in the universe that you're looking to find that you'd love to have on display?
gosh, that's such a great question. Um, I love funky uranium glass.
Mm, that stuff's
Um,
hot. Shout out Will and
it
his dad. They love that.
Man, and my collection is either I have a bunch or I have none. Like right now it's dwindling down because
Yep.
everybody came in for Christmas and bought uranium glass, and I
They
love the
love it.
collectors. There's a uranium glass chandelier, which I think is probably one of the coolest things you could have because you just put black light bulbs in it and the
Yeah.
whole thing glows. So I would
I don't think I've
love,
ever seen one of those.
oh,
Whoa.
oh my gosh. And the other thing, you were asking advice, I would tell people there's, collectors, geek out groups on all the social medias, belong to them,
Mhm.
because they'll come up in your feed and you'll not only get educated, but you can help other people. People are like, hey, can anyone tell me, do they know if this is Fenton? Do they know, what brand this
Mhm.
is? And you actually learn yourself from doing it. So I would join as many of those things that you share a joy or commonality with that you can, because there's people have knowledge. They know
Oh,
they're
yeah. And
out
they
there.
love to share it. This community
Of
is
course
so
they do.
giving with their info.
Yes, yes. I think
So, what's next for you guys? Is there a big 2026 goal? Anything you guys are trying to achieve in the next year? Or are you just
well,
enjoying it, which I kind of love too?
well, we moved right in November, December, the two busiest months, I would
Yeah.
say, for our store, and it's
Mhm.
been nonstop for us. But we're trying to bring in more artisans. We have a waiting list. There's about 18 artisans on our
I did
waiting
notice
list.
that in your comments. People are like, when can I come in?
We also, when we did the store, we left a room intact. And that the purpose of that room, we call it our event space, is to
Mm.
actually host a lot of pop-ups and let anybody rent it. So all the people that are on the waiting list, they can't get in the store, but they can do a pop-up. They can come with their friends. And we have one girl who's doing a clothes swap day.
Oh, cool.
And so we also do it free for any, nonprofits. You can rent it for free,
Yeah,
use it as a meeting space. And also the artisans here are going to do classes in there.
that is
So they're going to
great.
teach upcycle. They're going to do painting. We have a guy who does terrariums out of vintage glass pieces. I know, it's just
I
so
love
cool.
that. And I'm
Every time I
thinking,
think I've heard it all, I meet a new person and go, what?
yeah. And the networking, like you said, is so critical. I'm thinking the eBay meetup people, they are always looking for unique spaces. I'll
Really?
have to
Okay.
mention that. Shout out
Yeah.
Liz at Colorado Reworn down in Colorado Springs. She's
Yeah.
always looking for spaces.
And we
Okay.
priced it super reasonable because we want it to be available. When we looked around, even for local vendors, they were telling us like, we have to shell out so much money before we've even sold anything
Yeah.
that it makes it really difficult. I don't want it to be really difficult. I want it to be easy for them. And then if they're marketing the pop-up, they're also going to visit the store. And then the visitors in
It's
the
a
store are
win.
also going to, it's a win for
It's a
everybody. And
win.
that at the end of the day is all we really want.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing something right. And I always like to say that, this podcast is devoted to normalizing shopping secondhand, but you're like doing it in real life and meeting people IRL, as the kids say. And I'm really here for it. So I hope you continue, and bravo. And thank you for your service to our industry as a whole, because people need to keep doing it or we're all going to be suffering. So I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. And you need to come to the store.
I can't believe I haven't. I'm really disappointed in myself. My producer's like, "Did you make it happen?" I'm like, "No." And I have to tell her. I'm so embarrassed. Not to worry though, I'll be there. I mean, you can't miss out. This is a fun idea. I love that we can all be friends and part of the same community and really just build it up and be another stop. Because
Yeah.
I feel like when we see our customers, they go to like 3, 4, 5 places a day. Are you feeling the same kind of vibe?
Yes, people come in and say, I didn't even know this was here. This is so cool. I'm going to add
Oh,
you to my list of stops.
yes.
And I'm like, that's great. And I love sending people to, like I said, the other stores. I have my favorite that's down on Broadway. Everybody does. Like,
Mhm.
where would you go geek out for a while? And even if you don't find anything, it's just fun to look at this stuff because most of the time you see stuff you've never seen or you haven't seen. And I think that's probably another thing is people will walk in and they'll gasp and I'll kind of chuckle to myself
And
I
you'll
look
run over.
I look over and I run over. I go, can we geek out on something? And they're like, looking at this piece just takes me back. I'm with my mom in my kitchen. I'm a child again. How is it that a piece can bring you back in time,
Mm,
how you felt, what things smelled like, your memories? That's amazing.
mhm.
And that's what these pieces do, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, and you get to be a small part of it. That's
Yeah.
pretty rewarding. Much better than sitting at a desk all day, girl. I'm here for
Yeah.
it.
I, I'm not going back. So this has to work.
There you go. I love that. That's the best attitude. And
Yeah.
what you guys are doing, you're gonna find all sorts of success. We can't wait to watch your journey. I'm grateful that you were able to join the pod today. And as we end every pod, I like to do a shout out to my personal queen. By the way, I just saw the Dolly Symphony at the Colorado Symphony. Highly recommend. It's called Threads.
Wow.
Yes, someone gave me and my husband tickets, and it was all Dolly Parton music. It was incredible.
Oh,
So,
wow.
anything you'd like to say to her about our queen? And my deep personal question: do you ever get Dolly Parton paraphernalia?
I never turn down Dolly Parton stuff,
Yay!
and I get Dolly Parton t-shirts all the
Oh, I'm
time.
coming in.
And they usually go pretty quick, but I
Yep.
love the like what would Dolly do and all these fun things, and you just can't deny anything that has her name on it.
Mm.
It's golden.
Yeah,
It's so funny how that
absolutely.
works.
Do you have any personal connection to her? I mean, you're right in the right age group for like memories of Dolly Parton.
No, just have like okay. The funny thing is we just got in the soundtrack for Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
It's a great movie.
When is the last time you saw that soundtrack? Like, and I'm like, it's Burt Reynolds and it's Dolly Parton. This is like just the epitome of my childhood. This is so
Yes.
cool. Yes.
American gold, absolute gold. And but you know what I find out though, when we interview people from other countries, they have just as much love for Dolly Parton. It's amazing. She's like
Well,
this great. Yeah, go ahead.
she's like the greatest human ever, right?
I agree.
I wish more people were like Dolly Parton, and we'd have a better world that we live in.
100%. I could not agree more. Keep this stuff coming, you guys. I save every little tiny little Dolly Parton thing from a postcard or a letter. I save it all.
I'll
That's
put
my
it
goal.
aside for you. Wow, I'll have
Yes,
to
let me
you
know. I'll stop by, but I'm stopping by regardless because I know you have something that I need.
Oh, okay, cool.
Kelly, you're an absolute delight. Once again, tell our listeners how they find you on the socials and send you all their love and come shop.
Absolutely. So we're located in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, on the southeast corner of University and County Line. We are modernvintagemarketplace.com. You can, on our website, it has a way that you can call us or email us. And we also do ship. We have people all the time reach out. We have a piece they've been searching for, we'll ship it. And our social media handle is MVM Retail.
Amazing. Easy peasy. Love it, Kelly. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maggie. This was wonderful.
And
Great way to
Thrifties,
start the day.
it is, right? It's super
Yes.
easy peasy. And you've done this before, so it's old hat.
Yes.
And Thrifties, thanks so much for tuning in once again to the Get Thrifty podcast. Reminder, save our pod and leave us a 5-star review about how funny, creative, and smart we are. And if you're part of this unique thrift culture and you'd like to be on this pod, you know where to find me on Instagram at Podcast with Maggie. And as always, please follow ARC on Instagram at ARC Thrift and now on TikTok at ARC Thrift Stores and hopefully on YouTube at ARC Thrift. Thanks so much and have a wonderful week.
Hunt for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.